All right, I want to show you a situation that just popped up. When I woke up this morning, I noticed there was a raking light on these strings, and it was showing something to me. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's very subtle, but it dips down here. Bridge is up here, and then this dips down, up, down, like that. And I noticed it, and I took a look inside of the guitar. I knew there was a loose brace, but I just thought it was the tip that I would just re-glue at some point. But let's take a look inside, and it's actually worse than I thought. Okay, it's difficult to get this, but I think you can see that gap right there. And it goes all the way to about there. And somebody put a ton of glue right on the front of this brace, all in this area, to hold it in place. I have a feeling this brace completely came loose at one point, but it was difficult to get the glue back in this corner, so they left it. And I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to attempt to do this with the strings on it, so I'm just going to loosen all the strings. Because I don't know if anybody knows about classical guitars and how these strings are attached, but they're a pain in the butt to take on and off. Okay, I think this is a much better shot. You can see that brace. You can see when I push on the top how much it opens up. So that's what it's doing when you put it under string tension. It's popping way up about there. So I need to clean underneath, between the brace and the top, I need to clean that all out so I can get a good glue joint, clamp it, and that should do it. So let's get started. Okay, this is almost impossible to film, but I have this blade that's bent, and I have 2 pieces of sandpaper, adhesive sandpaper, kind of a fine grit, that I'm going to work in here. And you can see, hopefully, I'm aiming towards that separation between the top and the brace. And I'm going to work this in, and can't do it while I'm holding my camera, but you can see I have sandpaper and this little palette knife. I can get it in there and work it through. So I'm gonna put the camera on a tripod and show you how I do this from up above. I think you can see when I push this down how much it flexes. So by pushing it down, it opens up that gap. I can get this sandpaper. I can get it to just slide in at the closest point. That's the tightest it is right there. And then the back, it's open quite a bit. So it's easy to get the sandpaper in there and clean that out. Now this guitar being, about 80 years old, whatever glue is in there is most likely hide glue, and it's probably so dried up that I just want to make sure it's fairly clean. Hide glue will stick to hide glue, so that's what I'm going to use on this. And I'm just going to get in there with a brush. I have another tool here. You can see this bent brush. So I'm going to get in there and sweep it out. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get some glue in there and clamp it up. That should do it. I'll be right back when I show you how I get that set up. Okay, I'm going to show you my setup here on how I think I'm going to get glue down into that brace. And I have my guitar just sitting on my bench, but I have it clamped so it's not going to move. I have it clamped to the bench here, and I have the guitar clamped to hold it in place, to stop it from moving side to side. It's very steady. It's not going anywhere. So that's in position, and I have this bent pipette that I'm going to work down into the sound hole and get it between the brace and the top. And I've practiced. It seems to be able to work. So let me get some glue down in there. Just heating up some glue. I think it's just about ready. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just clean it out with a little bit of water. Just work this brush down. Get it in between the bracing. Everything's difficult. Makes it a little more difficult trying to work with the strings on it as well, but not impossible. Okay. Now I'm ready to add some glue. Now I have a mirror inside so I can see what I'm doing. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to try to do this carefully without making too much of a mess inside the guitar. I'm hoping to just drop some glue along the top and have it seep into the gap. Okay, that one looks pretty good. Without putting too much glue. I want to get it all the way down to the back of it. Just squeezing the top to get the glue to penetrate. Just want to get a little more in the back. That should be good. Just want to get in there and wipe it up a little bit. Okay. Now I want to get a clamp in there. Old Jed clamp it is going to come in. It's going to be a little tricky. Hopefully I can do this with the strings, not messing up the strings too much. Might have to get them out of the way. Let me re-rig this. Be right back. Okay, I think that hopefully that will work. It seems like it's clamped. It's hard to see if it's nice and tight or not. Don't have a lot of room to get in there and look. Might have to take this off this clamping system here and lay it flat on the bench. Let me undo that. I'll bring you back in a sec. Okay, now it looks like, well, now I have it on the bench. I can definitely see inside a little better now. I do see glue squeezing out along that joint. Man, it's difficult with these strings. I don't know if it was such a great idea to attempt this with the strings on it, but definitely makes it harder. Wow, okay, but it does look tight. Okay, I'm gonna go with that, let that dry at least overnight so that it holds good and strong. Okay, I'll show you the results when I come back. Okay, so I let this dry overnight and it's got some tension back on the strings. Just taking a quick look inside, make sure everything is holding up still. Everything looks pretty solid in there. See if it's in tune. She lives to play another day. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.